Hello? Hello? Good evening. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hi, people. Hi, family. Hi, friends. Welcome to today's program. Thank you for joining. I see somebody is with us already, so I would like to thank the person. And if I can say the person's name, I would also like to say your name. Hello, my name is Mayowa. Who is there? How are you? Good evening. How was your day? It's Friday today. You know, every time I have to remember which day it is because every day is pretty much a day as far as I'm concerned. But to just know that it's Friday, I know how it is in most Western world. That Friday is most people's favorite day of the week. So, especially Friday evenings. So I'd just like to say hello and welcome. On a Friday, I want to be excited with you. Yay, Friday feelings. Good evening, who's there? I cannot see any name right now. So I'm just going to keep saying hello until somebody says hi back and I say their name. So hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Who's with us? Please let me see your name. Left. Okay, this is left. Hello, good evening. Move agent. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. Today we are going to discuss an attribute of Dr. Sunday that we love. So, and also we can develop. So not that only that we love it. We've all said it, that yes, we love this attribute about Dr. Sunday, but the most important thing is that we can develop these attributes for ourselves as well. If you are, good evening. Thank you for joining. Henry, how are you? Thank you so much for joining, guys. I am really, really grateful when I see people joining and engaging with us. I really feel happy when that happens. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. We're going to discuss attributes, but as you know, these attributes are not just attributes of Dr. Sunday or peculiar to Dr. Sunday. They are attributes that we also can develop and we also can cultivate in ourselves and be of benefit to our world. So this is one of the reasons why I love discussing attributes, because even though I know the word, but it's not something that I think about consciously or even think of developing. So if anyone is like me, please, this is an opportunity for us to learn together and grow together. And if you're not like me, you're better off where you know these attributes very well, you use them and you've cultivated these attributes already, then please help us out, people like me, and help us to develop this by telling us what you know about these attributes, how it can help, what it means to you, and what is done for you, the benefits of having these attributes. So please, guys, let's do it together. Let's engage in this conversation together. Hello, Henry. Hello, Sammy. Good evening. Thank you very much for joining. And before we forge ahead, I will please ask you to share this with as many people as possible. You know, we have several ways of sharing. You can either share by tagging somebody. So you can tag not one person, not somebody, one, no, like several people. So tag as many people as possible. How do you tag? You type the @ button, the same @ that you use for email, and the name of the person. So no space, just @ and then start writing the names of the person. Facebook will usually populate for you the different names that matches the letters that you type. And of course, you can also share. And what else can you do? You can invite people. So you can click on invite and then tap on the people that you want to invite. All of this will notify individuals to tell them that you're watching this program. They can join you, and @ would be a mention. So somebody would see that you've mentioned their name, and then they will look on their Facebook and see where you've mentioned their name and join. So this is the purpose of doing this. If you don't mind, please do the honors and share. Hello, Ifoma. Good evening. Thank you for joining. So guys, let's do this. This attributes is not even a word that I often use personally. So I really want us all to engage, and you know how to engage with us here. You can engage by calling Julie Ngoya on Messenger. That's Julie Ngoya. the information will come onto the page now, and you'll be able to see on the comment section. So Julie Ngoya, she's here, and then she can give your call to me, and everyone can hear you live, so you can contribute. And of course, you can write your comment in the comment section as you're doing so now. Thank you, Ifoma. She just wrote a beautiful comment. Hello, beautiful. Thank you very much, Ifoma. I appreciate that. And you can do the same. Write a comment there so we can see what you've written, and then be able to share it with everybody else. So today's attributes is erudite. Erudite. And what does it mean? The word, or should I say the attributes, because that's what we're discussing. It means having or showing great knowledge or learning. Having or showing great knowledge or learning. Hello, Olabisi, good evening. So erudite means having or showing great knowledge of or learning. So knowledge of something, knowledge and understanding. So guys, you're asking, if you're new to this, hello, peace. If you're new to this, you would be wondering that, okay, what's this all attributes all about? Why attributes? You know, where did you get this from? You can't just pick a word from anywhere. Yeah, of course, we didn't just pick a word from anywhere. We got this attribute from you, from followers of Dr. Sunday, from mentees, for people that loves his teachings during his Golden Jubilee. That is his 50th birthday back in May. So we asked people about the attributes of Dr. Sunday that they love, and they shared these attributes with us, which included this one that we're discussing today, erudite, and Julius kindly put it up, having or showing great knowledge or learning. That's what it means. It's not an attribute or that I've actually cultivated here, number one. Number two, and it's not a word that I often use. You know, I might say that somebody is knowledgeable, I might say somebody is smart, I might say somebody is intelligent, but I don't ever use the word erudite. So this is again one of the reasons why I love these attributes, because it also brings words. My learning session, he also brings words to my understanding, the words that I don't often use, and I hope it's the same for you. Hi Vivian, thank you. I'm off to work. Oh no, Ifoma, I will watch later. Okay, no problem. I know that you have to go to Uncle Sam, but that's okay. It's just for the meantime. If anyone says DSA is truthful, approachable, transparent, loving, caring, hardworking, and consistent. Wow, if anyone, those are like how many attributes altogether? You're really on a roll today. Thank you very much for that. That's really good, and that's, you know, those are nice attributes that also we have actually experienced. So you're spot on with those attributes that you've listed. But today we are discussing the attribute erudite, which means having or showing great knowledge or learning. And you know, I don't need to tell you, but for those of you that are new, hello Patrick, how are you? Good evening. Then maybe I should share some of this with you. Hello Daniel. Dr. Sunday is already we know that having showing great knowledge, he has showed us a lot of knowledge. I mean, I cannot say even a lot is almost like an understatement, but I use the meaning here of erudite, which is great knowledge. And great knowledge indeed he has shown. You know, in what area, you name it, he has the knowledge, he has the understanding. And you know, for us or anybody or Dr. Sunday himself to get great knowledge of something, he has to develop himself. He has to invest time in acquiring this knowledge. So I think today it would really be nice if we discuss how we can develop these attributes. You know, not that we will just start talking about the attributes in general alone, but let's kind of focus this conversation on how we can also be considered as somebody who is who has an attribute called erudite, or who is I don't know what the how you would say erudite, like in I don't know how we use or other way you would say it, but how can we develop this attribute erudite, having or showing great knowledge or learning? And there's an example here that says Julie could turn any conversation into an erudite discussion. You know, so if she could turn any conversation into great knowledge of or learning. Wow, I think that describes somebody that I know very well. Well, I know a little bit. So who do you guys think it is? DSA, he's a good role model. Thanks. Thank you, Excel. Yes, Ojo, good evening. Thank you for joining. So that's true. He is a good role model because he is knowledgeable. But how do you arrive at this? How do you develop these attributes and all the other attributes that we've discussed in the past? Where does it come from? Is it just are you just born with it, or do you have to do certain things in order to acquire these attributes? I think this is really something that we need to understand, so that also we can have these attributes for ourselves and be of benefit to our world and the people around us. So another synonyms to erudite is learned, scholar, well educated, well informed, cultured, cultivated, intellectual. Those and other synonyms to erudite. So guys, come on, let's have this discussion together. I don't want to be the only one that have this understanding. I don't know if I've told you this story before, because I always do like telling stories that actually pinpoint information. You know, obviously, guys, you know that Dr. Sunday is quite knowledgeable. A lot of us know that he's knowledgeable already. If you don't know, you know, he's taught us so much, and he's still teaching, and he's still somebody that learns himself. He spends at least 3 hours on a daily basis learning. 3 hours learning. I mean, this is not a joke. 3 hours at least. So he spends at least 3 to 6 hours a day learning, on top of all his busy schedule. And he doesn't miss it a day. He doesn't say, today I've been so busy, I can't do this. He would actually forgo sleep in order to ensure that he makes that at least minimum 3 hours a day. And that is for a fact. You know, we don't even know when he sleeps, but we know that he does sleep. I have seen him sleeping one of the time. But to be honest with you, even when he was sleeping, he was also hearing everything that we're saying. We were reading, and he was saying, "Oh, there's a mistake in what you just read out." So again, I don't know when he sleeps. If anyone says, no, we are not born with it. We require this disciple. Okay, I think you mean that we acquire this discipline or this attributes. Yes, of course. I'm just asking the question, and I think that you got it right there in order to say that we're not born with it. Because again, I think sometimes we make excuses to say that, well, I wasn't born that way, or I'm not like this, so that's why I don't know you, and other people are like this. I know that I do that a lot. You know, when I'm not really thinking and I'm being in biomass, I sometimes think, okay, I don't even think. Let's say I don't think, and then I would say something like, okay, this person is good at that, but I'm not good at that. I'm not used to it, or I'm not this. But it's not true. That's the lies. That's the lie that I tell myself, so that I don't take the responsibility and learn the good habits or behavior or attributes. So absolutely pivotal. It's absolutely important that we understand what if any have said, that we're not born with it, and it's what we can cultivate, we can develop in ourselves. Excel says, teaching people how to live holy life. Okay, thank you very much, Excel. That's an interesting statement that you made, like, but teaching people how to live holy life. I wish there was somebody else here that can really help me with that statement. I don't know if you can teach people how to live a holy life, or even if we can be holy, but obviously we can try our very best to be good in love. You know, everything that we do in love, as I have been learning over the last few days, that everything that you do in love triumphs everything. I'm not a big fan of holy, like, you know, to be holy, because I don't think anybody is holy. And I think if you try too much to be holy, then, you know, you can try to be good, to have a good heart, to love God and love people, but to be holy, I don't know. But if anyone thinks I'm wrong, or they want to say something else, please feel free. Enlighten me as well. I know Dr. Sunday pretty much try his best. You know, he teaches as well, is a very good role model. But being holy, I don't think that we can be holy at all. Okay? So Excel, that's just my own thing. But thank you very, very much for your contribution. I think it's a really great conversation starter, teaching people how to live a holy life. Thank you very much. Justine said, hello, no notification today. I'm sorry, Justine. No wonder the numbers are low, but don't worry. You have the opportunity to actually share this with other people. So you can share by tagging somebody. So you write at, which is a button that you use for your email. So the same at, and then you type in the person's name that you would like to invite, somebody that you think should be on this program right now, or should be watching or can be watching with you. You can tag them, you can share this with them by inviting them, or you can just share this on your page. So please do all three, and more people hopefully will join us. Thank you very much. Julie says, wow, 3 to 6 hours per day for self-education. Whoa. Yes, she knows that already. I think she's just highlighting it for everybody else to know, because yes, he does spend 3 to 6 hours a day, per day, every single day. He spends that much time in order to develop himself. So going back to today's attribute, which is erudite. So what do you think? How do we develop this? First thing is that we all know that from what Ifeanyiwa said, that we must be disciplined. I mean, yes, I understand. We must be disciplined in order to cultivate this. And also that we are not born with all these things, as in, the excuses, born in the sense that you use the excuse that, okay, I'm not a learning person. I have heard so many times people saying things like, I'm not really a reader, for example. I'm not somebody that likes or read. I don't really read. I'm more of somebody that listening or something. You like what you cultivate to do. Eventually, at first you might not like it. A lot of things that we do, like for example, if you leave a child to play, a child will just want to play. If you sometimes say go and do your homework, there are exceptional children, maybe 1 out of like 100, that you don't have to tell them to go and do their homework. For example, I'm just using that as an example, that will just automatically come from school, and then they want to do their homework, and they want to do self-development, and they want to read or do all these other things. But there are other children where you have to actually help them to cultivate this habit by guiding them to do it. And as adults as well, if there are things that we know that will benefit us, we don't have to like doing it, but we have to do it. So we have to cultivate a habit that, okay, I don't like doing this, but I have to do it. It would benefit me. It would benefit my world. I would be better off understanding this. So what do? You practice doing it every day. And I know one of the ways to practice things is, one that I know is that do it every single day without missing any day. And I think this is one of the things that Dr. Sunday does that he's so good at now, that is just second nature to him. So if you want to develop any habits, I've read this, I've heard it so many times, do that same thing every single day for at least 30 days. Do it every single day. Sooner or later, you will forget. It would not be a chore for you anymore. It would not be challenging, and you would continue to do it and do it well. It will become part of you. So do it at least every single day for 30 days without missing it. And if you missed one day, then you have to start all over again. If you miss another day, you have to start all over again until you do 30 days without missing it, and then you will realize that, oh, this is something that I can do. Do you know, I actually stop drinking pop, like fizzy drinks, with this habit, because I never used to drink water. I know water is good for you and everything, but when I realized that water is good for me, guess what I did? It was during one of this fasting time. So I decided that I'm not really going to fast. It's not going to work for me because of my lifestyle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give up drinking fizzy drinks. So I did that, and for the whole fasting period, which was 40 days then, I didn't drink any fizzy drink. And you know what happened? It was very much a struggle for me not to drink it in the first few days. And later on, I just started forgetting about it. I knew that I couldn't drink it because I'm fasting and I don't want to. I ate, I did everything as normal, and I kept on going for the whole 40 days. I didn't, and guess what? I don't even like the taste of fizzy drinks anymore. Yes, sometimes I indulge in it, but it's not something that I'm even interested in at all. And that really worked for me. So you can use it you can do it the other way around as well. where, you know, we know that we're born with abilities, but we're not born able to do things automatically. We have to cultivate those habits, those abilities. We have to dig it like diamond in the rough. It doesn't look good when you see the diamond, but when you take the diamond and you refine it, you do everything that you need to do, then, you know, when you see the diamond pretty, you know, it's lovely. So that's how we are as human beings as well. We've got capabilities, but we need to cultivate, we need to work on it in order for it to become what is supposed to be in us. So first thing first is that we must understand that, yes, we are not born with some things. We need to develop them. We need to develop this attributes. We need to develop this good behavior. And the way to do so is to ensure that if you decide that you want to do something, do it every single day without fail. Every single day, even if it's something that you don't like doing, but you know this will be of benefit to you. So a good example is reading. If you're somebody that don't like reading, you don't really enjoy reading, just said, okay, it is well known, thousands of people have said, it is proven that it is good for you to read. It's important to read. So my suggestion would be, right, I want to read, but I don't like reading. And I know that if I develop the attribute or the attitude to be able to read, or the ability to be able to read, then I will learn more, I would understand more. So what do? Use this practice of everyday reading. So decide that every day I'm going to read a minimum of maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour. Set your goal of 30 to 1 hour. I would actually say 1 hour would be good, because 30 minutes can go really fast. But, you know, do 1 hour a day, and with that 1 hour a day, make sure that you don't miss an hour. Even if you really, really want to do this very well, maybe you should say an hour at a certain time. But I probably would say at first you can say an hour a day, so you can take it any hour of the day, so that you're not under pressure and you don't feel like you failed if you don't achieve it. But you must absolutely do 1 hour in a day. Within the 24 hours, you have to do that 1 hour, and just read one book that you like, read parts of it 1 hour a day until you finish it. And then you will see how much every single day, and make sure you practice this and do this every day for 30 days. And you'll find that you would have finished a book. You'll feel very good that, wow, I was able to finish a book. What else can I read? What did I gain from this? You will start developing good feelings, good attributes, good knowledge as well. And you will find that you would enjoy doing it. That's just something that I have practiced myself, and it's really worked for me. So thank you for listening, but I think you should try that. Hello, Ola, good evening. Thank you for joining. Oriyomi, good evening. Thank you for joining. Ojo, okay, Ojo just tagged somebody. So look at what he's done. He's tagged at, and he's written the name as, I believe it would be as in Facebook. So everybody, let's follow suit with Ojo Pelumi at, and then the name in full, and the person should know that you've been mentioned. Julie says, being erudite is actually a requirement for anyone who does not want to be fooled. Wow. That is the reason why most of Africa is backward. Ooh, Julie is triggering some emotions here. We lack the attributes erudite and are therefore taken advantage of, either by so-called spiritual authorities, the government, the society, or even foreigners, those who simply want to exploit Africa. I think that's it. I can't say the rest of it. And then I think actually, guys, Julie has just triggered something, and I think we should discuss this, because she has actually just put the nail right into the is it nail into the spanner or something like that, and she just went for it. Like, that is why, if you don't want to be fooled, you have to develop this attribute. This attribute is not optional. You know, you have to be learned. That's what she said. You have to be knowledgeable. It's not an attribute that you think, okay, it's nice to have, I'll have it. In order for you to survive in this world, for you not to be fooled, for you not to be manipulated, for you not to be taken advantage of, this is an attribute you must cultivate. So this is interesting, and I think we should discuss it from the angle especially that Julie have kindly raised and triggered. So let's do it. Please let me know your comments. Priestley says, watching this and having rethinking in your life watch this and have rethink in your life. Okay, Presley, I think you're saying that you're watching this and you're thinking about life, your life. Okay, that's good. I think this is a very good place to start, because when we have an opportunity like this where we're discussing something or we're mentioning something, it's a good time to rethink, to think about our lives and what's happening to us and what where we are and where we want to be. So absolutely, thank you very much for mentioning that, Presley. That's a good point you made. Gold V, good evening, thank you for joining. Hello Chioma, good evening, thank you for joining. Chimezi, good evening, thank you for joining us. I'm expecting your comment, Chimezi. What's the topic, please? Okay, Chimezi, we're discussing erudite. That's the attributes we're discussing today, is erudite. And you know the meaning already. I don't need to tell you, but I will. It says having or showing great knowledge or learning. So we're talking about the attribute erudite and what it means and how to cultivate it. What do we need in order to cultivate this? And Julie just gave us a straightforward, direct, no trying to patch it up, that it's not an optional attribute to develop. It's an attribute we absolutely need to develop, especially if we don't want to be fooled, if we don't want people to take us for granted or manipulate us, that we must develop this attribute erudite. We must be learned, we must have knowledge about everything, great knowledge. Otherwise, anyone will tell us anything and we will believe it. And she even mentioned a religious authority and other authorities, and she even said foreigners. So I think she's talking about being an African and being black and, you know, other people like maybe whites. I mean, this is no offense to anybody, but how they can fool Africans. But for me, I think personally, even whites get fooled by, if you don't have knowledge, if you don't have understanding, it doesn't matter what color you are, you will be fooled wherever you are. But yes, I know we have a challenge, we have problem with Africa, and we're even exploiting ourselves. Authorities, some people are appointing themselves as self-authority, and other people are following them and taking advantage of them, basically, especially in the church. So I know where Julie's coming from. So guys, if you have anything to say about that, please let us know. Let's have this out. You know, I love good discussions as well. I love very heated discussions. So this is one of them, and I think that we can really make good of this. You can call Julie Ngoya, the person that triggers this by saying that we'll be fooled. Call her messenger, and she's right here. She'll give the call to me, and the whole world will be able to hear what you've got to say about this topic. Erudite is an attribute of Dr. Sunday that we love, that we can develop, and we're talking in every angle, how we can develop this, what we can do to develop this. So please join us in the conversation. Aisha, good evening. Thank you for joining. How are you today? Thank you, Aisha. Hello, Edwin. Good evening. Oh, Pastor Edwin, excuse me. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Hello, Stella. Good evening. Aisha again. Oh, Aisha, you're such a gem. Look at all the love Aisha is sending us here. Thank you. I appreciate you, Aisha. You've got such a good heart. Hello, John. Good evening. Hello, Ola. Anything you do consistently without deviation for 21 days become a part of you. Excellent, Ola. I think you grasped what I was trying to say there. I actually added more days. I know in most books and self-help books, they always put 21 days. But you know what? I think that let's just do it for the whole month. Let's call it 30 days. Add another 7 days for, for extra luck, for extra, to make sure that it's embedded properly. 21 days is the prescription, but what's stopping you for adding another 7 days? Make it 30 days. No. Yeah, another 7 days will not make it 30, will make it 28, but I would say make it 30 days. I think with 30 days, definitely you will get the results that you require, which is to imbibe that culture or the habits into your life easily. I think 30 days is it should be, but at a minimum, yes, I agree with Ola, it's 21 days at a minimum. But I think if you really want to make sure that it goes right in, do it for 30 days and consistently, like Ola said. Thank you so much. So we're discussing this. This is in relation to anything, but if you want to be especially an erudite, can I say an erudite? I don't know. That means somebody that is an erudite. You have this, you're learned, you are knowledgeable, you understand things, you can discuss in a wide variety of topics because you have the knowledge. I think you really need to learn whatever area for at least 30 days personally. But of course, Ola has also put 21 days, which is what is prescribed most times. Curtis says facts. Thank you, Curtis. Facts about what I was discussing, but I can't remember. I don't know exactly what part you're agreeing with and saying facts, but yes, that is encouraging to see that you've written that. Thank you so much. Pastor Edwin, thank you very much. Who else do we have here? Curtis says, that's the only way to truly know all that's required for your success. Thank you, Curtis. The only way to truly know all that is required for your success is, I don't know what it is, but I'm sure it's when I was saying something or when somebody said something that I read out. But thank you again, Curtis. I appreciate that. Aisha says, knowledge is universal, either black or white. Yes, Aisha, I think I know what you're talking about there. I think it was in relation to Julie's comment that I was throwing a spanner on, where she was saying that that's why Africans are fooled by foreigners, and also, and I said yes, yes, it is because we're not erudite, or we don't have erudite in our kind of like habits. We're not so knowledgeable, so anyone can come to us and tell us anything and we believe it. But it's not just foreigners that fools Africans nowadays. Africans are fooling Africans, as we've clearly seen, and we know that happens. So yes, she's saying what Julie's point really is that we must cultivate by all means. It's not optional that we develop this attribute. It is a must. If we don't develop this, we would have challenges generally, and we will be fooled. Authority would tell us whatever they want to say. Yes, I think Julie wants to say something, so I'm going to turn the camera in a minute because she wants to explain herself. She doesn't need me to be a mouthpiece, so I'm going to let her have the camera in a second. Let me read one more comment. So the point here that Aisha is making, which is a point that I also made before, is that it doesn't matter your skin color. If you're ignorant, you'll be fooled by anybody. So although we're finding that a lot of Africans and black evidently are behaving like they are fooled, that they are not knowledgeable, they have no understanding, they're not learned. So I can say that. I think I can say that. Being black myself, I'm free to say that, right? So without offense. So what we're saying here is that anybody who is not learned will be fooled, regardless. Okay? Now, thank you very much, Aisha, for highlighting that as well. Curtis says, being an erudite is the only way to guarantee you acquire wide scope integrated knowledge, not organized somewhere else. Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Curtis. I think Curtis is making a very good point there, that which is similar to what Julia said, but I think that he's actually home in on saying that it's guaranteed. You know, if you have knowledge, you are guaranteed to have a wide scope, you know, so wide area of life, and you will be more into your knowledge will be integrated to other things as well, and you'll be organized where no one will be able to take advantage of you. So absolutely, that's right. Hello, Jude. It's been a while, or maybe you're not. Oh, Jude. Sorry, Jude. I thought I saw Jude. It's Jude. Apologies, Jude, from Quebec. Thank you for joining us, Jude. We appreciate that you're joining us today. I'm going to turn the camera before I continue reading. So Julie is right here, and I will let her speak.
Hello, everyone. I love this topic, actually. I think I like it much more than I thought I would, and that's why I feel compelled to share a bit of my perspective here. So I just left a comment where I said that erudite is something that you have to do, because if you don't, or you have to become, because if not, you will be fooled. And that's just a fact, really, because it doesn't have anything to do with anyone. It's just a universal fact. Because you can see the fact that Dr. Sunday, for instance, has been able to build what he has built because he was able to become erudite, and he put himself under the discipline to become erudite by developing himself every day. And like he was telling us a few times, when he was studying, he would go to the library for another 6 hours beyond the hours that he had already spent in university, just to develop himself further and become best in his class, best in his university. So these are things that are not optional if you are someone who does not want to be fooled by anyone. And that really includes anyone. And this is what he's doing. So it doesn't even matter what we are talking about, at least having some sort of knowledge so that you can have a discussion with people. You can have an informed conversation and not just sit there and be like, oh yeah, oh okay. And you don't know what everyone is talking about. And I think this is the problem that we have in Africa. I personally see that very, very clearly. Just looking at Africa right now, I know this is something that exists everywhere, but especially Africa. We do not have the culture of erudite behavior or erudition, or however you can call that noun. But we don't have that. And that's the reason why we're backward in basically almost all areas of life. And this is not something that is existing because we cursed or anything, but because we don't have that behavior of, cultivating ourselves beyond whatever we feel passionate about, or whatever we feel, belongs to us, or we are whatever situation we find ourselves. Just because I'm a mother doesn't mean that I have to be an expert in anything that concerns a mother and everything else doesn't interest me. I should also be interested in knowing something about technology or medicine or biology or anything, just to have some sort of knowledge so that nobody can come to me and say, oh, you know what, photosynthesis happens, below the surface of, just tell me anything. Like, there's so many things that people tell us that we believe. I mean, look at the churches. Yesterday, I was watching a video, doing my research about all these weird atrocities in the churches. And there was one video I was watching, and I listened to a sermon for about 45 minutes. And this pastor, was just talking nonsense. I mean, literal nonsense. It wasn't even something where you felt like, oh, this is, I could understand this differently, or, I heard this before. But he was just completely off course. Oh, yes. So what was he saying? Mayowa said I should tell you what he was talking about. Okay. So he was making different comparisons. So this is one aspect. One aspect was that he wasn't consistent with the things that he was talking about. He would change from one topic to the other within seconds and really just confuse everyone. That was one aspect. And to be a little bit more detailed, one example that he gave was that he's a workaholic and he doesn't like to sit down and just look like that. Just sit down and do nothing. And then he was giving an example of him being at the airport, and he was sitting and looking at the, what is it called again? Like the speed... The conveyor belt, exactly. But the one that, you walk on to be a bit faster. And he was saying that he was sitting there and observing the people. Oh yeah, it was the escalator, like the fastened elevator for you to walk on. And he was saying that he was sitting there looking at the people walking on that elevator and then thinking, oh, he should actually use that as well. And he stood up, and what he did afterwards to go to his gate was that he started a race with someone else. So he basically just wasted his time walking on that conveyor belt and racing with this person to see who was going to be the first, and making a whole joke of it and making people laugh and everything. It just didn't make any sense at all. And this is just a small example to tell you, people were sitting there wasting their time with someone who did not have any knowledge, but just because he had that title, that spiritual authoritative title, they felt compelled to sit there and listen to this guy laugh about his jokes that were not funny, and just getting nonsense and trash into their heads. I mean, anyone who has knowledge and who is erudite would not sit there and listen to this. And that's the problem that we have. So many people were sitting there filling these seats, laughing about things that have nothing to do with God, that are not adding any value to them, but they pay money and sit there to get blessings that are never going to happen, to to appear to them. They're never going to be received. So this is really something that made me think. And I'm so glad that we're talking about Erudite, because it's such a great example for Africa, and especially the churches in Africa just being backwards, or the Christians in Africa being backward, because we listen to a lot of nonsense. And we do that because we don't know better. And we don't know better because we're not erudite. So what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to actually develop that attribute so that nobody is going to be able to tell us nonsense and waste our time and basically waste our lives. So it's basically on us. We have no other option if we want to make Africa a great continent to come. So that's what I wanted to say. And obviously this applies to everyone. It applies to every culture, every color, every age, or whatever. If you don't want to be fooled, you have to get knowledge. It doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. But unfortunately, in Africa, we have that problem very prevalently. And that's just, what personally bothers me, and where I think we actually have a solution for. Because we have people who've gone that path before. We have a person like Dr. Sunday that we can emulate. So there really is just action needed, and it's on us. So
brilliant. Thank you, Julie. That was really good. I really liked the examples that Julie gave, and also some of the points that she raised there. They're really important points, and I really just want to mention a few things about those points that she made. Number one, in terms of being African and not cultivating this, that it's not, again, I can't emphasize on it enough that we have to gain knowledge. And it's a very common term that is used, that knowledge is power. But one thing I understand now, that knowledge without using the knowledge is not power as well. So we may have knowledge, but if we don't use it, we don't cultivate it, we don't actually develop it with other people, like practice it every day with other people, then it's not power. It's just like having an idea but not doing anything with the idea. Then the idea is really useless. It's not there, it's not existent. So absolutely, knowledge is power when it is used. But mentioning Africa and mentioning us knowing that this is an option, there's so many ways that we are fall short in this, because I heard recently that there was a meeting going on about the community, or maybe about the economy, or is it about politics, and women were not allowed in this meeting. I know this is another angle that I want to go to, but this angle, the reason I want to go into this is because the responsibility, the onus is on all of us, both male and female, young and old, that we need to really redefine the way that we do things. I know that there was times in the past where women were not even, they're not even bothered with to go to school or to further their education, because they are just expected to learn a little bit and then move on, get married and start having children, and only men are. And those, even in families where they're educated, the women do go to school. What do they end up doing? They just end up having children and then just looking after the children, and then the men do their own serious thing and their own thinking thing and all making decisions. And this is like really wrong in society. So we also really need to define ourselves and define the world and what we should do, what is good for us, and not follow the status quo. Because if we continue to follow the status quo, we would end up having the same results. Nothing would change. Our children also will grow up, especially female children, and they don't end up, they would make the same mistakes that we have made. So onus, I'm saying that, is on both of us as male and female, not just one gender, is on both genders, where if you're a male there as well, encourage the female in your life to participate in discussions, to learn more, to cultivate more. Because Judy mentioned about, if I'm a mother, I just need to learn about children. No, I need to learn about other things. So that's what triggered that thought in my head, that especially women, we are like, okay, this is not my area. This is not what I'm good at. My husband would do this. That's all fallacy. We are drawing ourselves back by not developing this attribute, erudite, because I'm not being knowledgeable and showing knowledge in many other areas, that we just want to stick to the looking after children or the kitchen area or household. I know that this is something that's prevalent in society. We might not be talking about it anymore. We might think that, it's not a big deal anymore. Women are taking their roles. I am not saying that you shouldn't take your role as a woman, or as a man take your own role as well. But you also need to be wide in your role, in your knowledge, in your understanding, so that you're not fooled. So being fooled is not just by authority or people outside. You can also be fooled in your own home. Because if you don't know, it's a person that knows that will take that will have a leverage, that will take the lead. It's okay for somebody to take a lead. Again, I am not against somebody taking a lead. I'm just saying that at least have the knowledge to empower yourself to be able to make informed decision. So, like Julie said, erudite is something that you absolutely need to cultivate. You need to learn, you need to develop, and the way to do so is to be widely read, to be disciplined enough to learn in areas that you don't know about, to know that if I don't know, it doesn't mean that I was born not to know. I was born and I can learn to know. So it's not an excuse to say I'm not that way inclined, okay? When it comes to knowledge, you must be every way inclined in knowledge and understanding. If anyone said, I have shut down TV in my house, bought a lot of books for myself and my kids, because I have seen the major problem in our continent is simply ignorance, and I don't want my children to go that lane. Excellent. This what you've just said here might change the course of a whole generation. What you're doing and what you're practicing now. People might think, oh, it's not a big deal. It's okay. People have lived and lived and been, and there's no problem. My parents live fine. Because sometimes when I challenge some things, I always have this block where people are telling me that, oh, my mom did okay, my dad did okay like this. Yeah, they did okay, but they could do better. Why stop at okay? Why stop at just breathing? Why don't you breathe healthy? Breathe well, breathe with your head up high. Don't breathe like lying down. And I'm just using breathing as an example. So you would always get people saying, oh, my mom did okay, my dad did okay, somebody did okay. No, but not okay. If you can do better than okay, then you should be aiming for better than okay. So it's excellent that you are doing what you're doing. If you are, it's a really good thing. And you know what? It's going to yield fruit beyond your imagination. So well done for that. We have Olu Remy, good evening. Thank you for joining. Roland, how are you? Good evening. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Aisha, I need this erudite to develop this into must. Yes, that's what we're saying, Aisha. You absolutely need it. Not just you, we all need it. It's not something that we can take for granted or take as an option. As I've repeatedly said, it's not an optional attribute. It's a must-have attribute, and it's an attribute that we know that we can cultivate by being disciplined. We can cultivate by looking for an area that we want to develop in and spending on a daily basis time in that area. If you miss one day, you have to start over again. And we have mentioned that you need to do it for at least 1 month. And somebody else has mentioned that it's 21 days of repeatedly doing something would help you to develop that attribute or to develop the habits. And I also gave examples of myself where I stopped drinking fizzy drink just by not drinking it for 1 month, which is during some sort of Lent or fasting. It was a while ago, and it was the best decision I ever made. I even did that with chocolate as well. And, I would normally have sweet fizzy drink and chocolate, and I stopped, that didn't even take me a long time. The chocolate didn't take me a long time, but the fizzy drink, nobody could believe that I would stop drinking a fizzy drink and just live my life with water and maybe tea and maybe once in a while. So we can all do it. We can all cultivate great habits, and we can actually abandon bad habits as well that we don't like by actually doing or not doing for at least 21 days. So you can go both ways. And I also mentioned that the responsibility for this, in order to develop, is for everybody, and encouraging each other on a positive light. So not saying women are not allowed to meetings, which I heard recently. So they are already assuming that women is not their area, they shouldn't be having anything to do. This was in Africa somewhere, and there was a meeting of a community or something to do with the economy or the development of the area or the nation, and women are not allowed. It was only men that are allowed there. I mean, can you believe it? In 2017, it's unbelievable to hear that. But you know what, women, we also owe it to ourselves to develop ourselves and be very well learned. That, you know, your gift, your knowledge, your understanding, you don't have to force anybody to accept you. But when they know that you are sound, you know what you're saying, they will be the one looking for you. They will be the one saying, okay, I need my wife to come to this meeting because she's got everything on a tee. She knows what she's talking about. So it is also your responsibility as an individual. Don't sit there and say men wouldn't allow us. Well, they might not allow us, but if they see what we can do, then we would see that they would actually say, right, they know what they're talking about, and I think we need their knowledge. Let's bring them in. So nobody should get angry over that. You should just make sure that you make them look for you, okay? That's what you should do. Develop yourself so well. And then we have Chimezi saying, interesting, I think it's a value that isn't common. It sets a person aside and apart from the crowd. Being erudite for me means knowing a reasonable bit of everything. It sets you free from being, I hope I can say it all, being taken advantage of, as you can always decipher, notice facts and issues correctly, especially when it comes to religion or faith. Wow, brilliant. This is exactly what Julie has said, but Chimezi has put it in another way, and I think it's both relevant. As you need to know a bit of everything. I believe when Chimezi is saying a bit, not a tiny knowledge of everything, but you need to know everything about everything. You need to know something. Well, I think that a bit means a substantial amount of something about everything. I think that's what he's saying, so that you can actually be able to have good conversation, understanding, tell your own part, have reason, be able to reason on the subject. So absolutely, we all need to, and yes, that's the reason why we cannot when we pastors and other people are telling us things that from the Bible, even though we hold the Bible, we know that the knowledge is in the Bible, but we don't go and check it for ourselves to understand. So we take what one man or a team of people are saying without actually checking it for ourselves and dissecting it and getting an understanding. So Chimezi, spot on as usual. Thank you so much for that. We have Curtis that says, erudite go after practical knowledge they can use to make money. Thank you very much, Curtis. Yes, they can use that to make money, but it's not just money. I think also is to gain understanding, to make a world a better place, is to have even good health as well. If you have knowledge, you will know what to eat, what not to eat. You will know the things to do because you have the knowledge of diet and nutrition, for example. It might not have nothing to do with money. You know how to cook well, how to put things in the right temperature, even if you're going to store them away. You know how to manage your finance. You know how to manage your relationships. That has nothing to do with money. Being an erudite, it would help you so many areas of life. You're knowledgeable. You know how to treat the opposite sex. You know how to treat children. You know how to get the best out of your children so that they could develop themselves to be the best. Like somebody mentioned, I think it's Ifenyuwa, that she shut down the TV. It's knowledge that is making her do that. She knows that with the TV, they're sitting watching the programs after programs. They're not really helping. It's not really helping the family. So what do? Shut down the TV, buy books. You read, your children read, you both develop understanding and knowledge in an area which TV cannot give you. So it's not just about money, but I do get what you're saying, Curtis. You're a very, from your comments, I know you're a businessman and you are into, making your money, which is absolutely good. And money is also important, but this erudite goes far beyond just money. But absolutely, money is also important. I know that money is important. If you want to do good, if you want to do certain things, you do need money. But it's not the only thing. So thank you so much for that. I should say, hey, Julie, love, 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 beauty with brain. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you so much, Aisha. That's nice of you. Yinka, thank you for joining. Curtis says, success is scientific. You must learn, assimilate, then apply then apply science. I think it's meant take action. Most people learn and memorize random precepts out of context. Wow, I think that's a very good point that Curtis have raised there, that we must have a focus and a goal even when learning as well. So if we learn something and we're not going to use those things, or we're just learning it for the sake of it, then what's the point? Everything must be learned with purpose. Everything must be learned with understanding and depth. So I think that's what Curtis is saying. And remember Dr. Sunday, during the question time that we had during his Golden Jubilee, he actually mentioned this, that he only have like 5 main goals. So let's say with what Curtis has said and what Dr. Sunday have also said as well, that if you have 5 main things that you want to develop in your life, or you really want to focus your attention, your time, invest your time and your values in, have those 5 things, know those areas, and develop yourself in it. Read everything you can about it. If it's relationship, read everything you can about relationship. Don't let anybody mess you up or tell you otherwise about relationship. If it is about Christianity, read everything you can about Christianity, about religion, about the foundation of it. How many Christians have read everything about Christianity, the history of Christianity, and all those things? They're just Christians maybe by default. So I get this, and I think this is a very good suggestion from Curtis, or statement from Curtis. It cannot just be random understanding things. It has to be focused. It has to be planned. It has to be goal oriented. It has to be with an objective of what you want to achieve, because you can't just pile your head with all sorts of things. There have to be things that are relevant and things that are useful for you in your life. So yes, I agree with that, Curtis. Thank you very much. David, good evening. Thank you. Amarachi, how are you? Amarachi, good evening. Thank you. Sheung, how are you? Wisdom is good. That's from Sheung, but it is not for everyone. Being an erudite means you have to think differently from everyone around us. Well, why is wisdom not good for everyone, Sheung? This is the exact mentality of the slave masters and all these pastors and prophets that said, touch not my anointing, that they are special and you're not. Of course, wisdom is for everybody. Why is wisdom not for everyone? I really want to know, Sheung. I may be puzzled by your statement, but maybe I didn't get it right. So let us see. Please, if you're there, Sheung, please expatiate on this, because I actually think that wisdom is good. I agree with you, and I also think it is for everyone to acquire. Maybe you're saying that not everybody has wisdom. I don't know. Yeah, of course, not everybody has wisdom. We all have to work hard to acquire wisdom, but it is good and it is for everyone. It's available for everybody. So, but let me know if I'm not getting you correctly, so that we can clear this up and have a better understanding from what you're saying. But thank you, though, for sharing your thoughts with us. Thank you very much. Chimeze is written again, and he said, Africans don't ask questions. Yeah. We are not schooled to ask. Okay, I think he said we are not educated. We're not schooled. We're not taught to ask why. In fact, you know what, Chimeze, you really raised a good point there, because I know that Africans really do find it offensive, especially when you ask them questions, especially if they're an authority or they're older than you. And this used to be a really big challenge for me as a child, because I was raised in England, and when I ask other questions, they always say that, oh, this girl, what's wrong with her? She's always interrupting, or they'll just say, oh, try to kind of quiet me down. So they don't like it when you ask them question, or you question what they have said. So absolutely, you're right there. But this is not the way that we should go. We should also, even as adults, that we've grown into that kind of culture and mentality, we shouldn't do it with our children. We should let them ask questions. We should let them be free to ask questions politely, but be bold enough and courageous to ask us questions. So yes, that's a very good point. In order to learn as well, in order to be erudite, you must have knowledge and show knowledge in areas. You have to ask questions. If you don't ask questions, you cannot develop knowledge in the areas. Yeah, so absolutely, please, let's all do this, and also allow other people to ask us questions without us being offended, because it's one thing that we think that we can ask other people questions, but do we allow other people to also ask us questions freely. So it's, again, this is another thing that is both ways. We are rather indoctrinated to consume everything line and hook and conjure up celestial reasons for why things happen. Yeah, I think I know what you mean with that, Chimezi. It might be concerning with religion, where they would say, yeah, it is spiritual, you don't understand, you have to be super spiritual to understand. Not true. That's just manipulation. There's no such thing as being super spiritual in order for you to understand, or you have to have some faith in order for something to happen. You need to have knowledge and understanding. So Chemeze, thank you very much. Shehu says, I pity most people who make fun of themselves thinking they are making sense. Okay, Shehu, I get you. In what you're saying, I think people that makes fun of themselves thinking that they're making sense. All right, I think we have a caller. So I'll go to the caller. So we have here, good evening. Okay, Rufaro is saying hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's speak to our caller. Hello, who's on the line? Hello. Sorry, hello. Hello, hello. Hello. No? We had a caller, but I think we've lost the caller right now. But if you caller, if you're still there, please feel free to call. I know we've run out of time, but I really like to speak to somebody and give somebody a chance to say something as well. Give Blessing says, knowing what to do and say at the right time. Absolutely. You know, a part of knowledge and understanding and being learned is not just saying everything that you know and just, like diarrhea. You also need to know when to say something, how to say something, what approach. So I absolutely agree with Gift. Thank you so much for that statement that you made. Is absolutely true. And then Chimezi says, I shut down TV too. Children are only allowed TV on Fridays and Saturdays. Oh my, yes, Chimezi, you know what? You don't know what you're doing. You're doing the best thing ever. Like I told somebody else as well that made that statement, that yes, you are probably changing the course of your generation, your children, because by the time that they practice this and they cultivate this in their lives, they will know that they would be just above the rest, their peers in society. And you have to do this. I know it's painful, especially if you grow up in an area where, with a family where, TV is just a norm. You come back from school and you watch TV. It's very challenging not to watch TV. I haven't watched TV since I got here. There's TV in the house, but we don't even switch it on. The only access that I have to the other side is internet through iPad. And, I don't watch TV. I watch maybe something that I want to watch, and that's even rare. It's usually listen to self-education, listen to audios on matters or on topics that are of interest to me, maybe watching public speaking, TED Talks and things like that. That's what I do if I'm going to actually be in front of any screen, and of course listen to Dr. Sunday's teachings. Do we have a caller? Okay, go ahead. So we have a caller right now, and I know we've gone over time, but it's important that we take this call since we've been asking somebody to call and somebody finally called. So hello. Oh, right. I think there's a problem. I think we have a problem with the line, so we're not able to get the caller. Comfort said good evening. Thank you very much, Comfort. How are you? Thank you for joining us. We're almost done today, but I think this program today is one that is worth watching back. So if you have the time, I would really encourage you to go ahead and watch it again, and share it with people. You share it with young people, share it with male, female, friends, family, because we need to develop this attribute. Erudite is not a word that I even often use. I use other words as to replace instead, not this particular word. But I see that this word was also very loaded. But the bottom line is to cultivate a habit of learning and understanding. So, who do we have here? Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Who's on the line, please? Tell us your name.
Yeah, I'm Salumi.
Oh, Jokolumi. Hello, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very fine. Good evening.
Good. So what do you have to contribute to this program today?
Okay. Just my thought is just based on Africa, and I feel that this is one of the qualities that the erudite quality is one of the qualities that Africans don't really have, being knowledgeable and all. And I feel that it's because of the focus of people is actually has been diverted to dominating things, making money, and all of that, instead of we channeling our knowledge to having the knowledge of how to dominate these things and how to make this money. So it's like I'll call it a corporate drive. There's no that drive to actually, even people that are actually knowledge are literate or something. There's still that once there's a job, everything is relaxed and all. The focus changes. Everybody is on vacation or some other things like that. There's no that move to what can we do about our present society? What can we make? That's why I feel that it's just a few people that are knowledgeable of these things. Those are the people that are actually dominating the political realm and all. But in my own perspective, to revive this, I just feel that there needs to be a lot of from people. There needs to be a lot of probably provision of libraries and stuff in various cities in Africa now.
Brilliant, Pelumi. That's really a brilliant comment that you've made, and a contribution you made to the program, especially with regards to Africa. And you've given us the reasons why you think that people are like this. You think that they're complacent, even the so-called ones that are learning. They also want to dominate. So other people are not really aware and they're complacent. Maybe they have one thing or the other. They're not really too bothered to even think, okay, how can we develop this further? How could we make things better? So complacency is an issue in Africa. But I don't really. I'm finding it hard to understand why they're even complacent if they don't have a lot. There's quite a lot of people in Africa that are that are in need. That need help. That needs financial help. So, from what you're saying, what do you think? You gave us one solution. You gave us the solution of let us rub heads together to develop it by putting libraries, for example. What else can we do in order to change the mindset? Because before the library comes, there have to be something about mindset and value changes. What do you think?
In that, this is because majorly a lot of people, the focus is on other people that are successful. Okay. Rather than on defining. I actually feel that the church has to do a lot in this particular scenario, whereby this thing, there needs to be a kind of seminars and probably a community movement that is peculiar to what that particular society is known for or reckoned with, so that they can actually develop people in these areas. Because because right now the focus of people is actually, okay, this person is successful. What can I get from this person? What substance can I get from this person? Rather than what is the knowledge that this person has that I can get. So there needs to be a complete overhaul. And that overhaul has to come from the people in authority. Maybe the pastors that have to really put this in. That you don't have to start focusing on what I have to give you. Rather than the knowledge that I have that has made me
acquire. Yeah.
And you can actually, So it actually has to come from those people that the people respect, so that their minds can actually be shifted.
Wow, Pelumi, you know what? You've actually even reminded me, actually opened my mind to something, because what you've said is actually spot on, and it's not something that is often understood in Africa by Africans especially. So I think you're an exception to many people in Africa, because recently, Julie, we testified today, recently we had people come in on, they always ask Dr. Sunday for favors, for help, and it's usually financial. And I always have some challenges with that, but it's almost like they expect it. I mean, somebody came recently and was saying that, he wrote a book, for example, and the example that you gave, that people look at successful people and just look at what they can get from them. And then he came and said, he's written this book and this book is great and all that. and he wants to present it to Dr. Sunday, and Dr. Sunday thanked him. And then he said that, oh, because he presented the book to Dr. Sunday have to kind of like give a huge amount for presenting the book. So I was there and I was thinking, why would Dr. Sunday give you money for presenting a book that you decided to write yourself? And he said, well, what's happened is that he's written this book, he's published this book now, and he's paid for the prints, but he needs people like Dr. Sunday in the society to pay for it for him, you know. So I said, I don't understand this. You made that decision on your own. He said, oh, that's how it is done in Africa. It's just to honor them. So rich people will do this. So I said, it doesn't make any sense. So from what you're saying, you know, this happened for real, you know. And this is similar to what you're saying, that we look upon people. I know the guy has done a good job by even thinking to write a book himself, right? But he can also come to Dr. Sunday and say that, how do you publish your book? How do you make money out of your book? What are the avenues that you can introduce me to that could help me to sell this book and make my money back? Not come and give them a book and say, you have to pledge a big amount because I'm honoring you by bringing it to you. And this is the mentality that people have money, they're rich, so all I can do is go to them to give me the money. And when I was speaking to this person, I was saying that I was giving him those suggestions, and he was saying that, yes, he agrees with me, but it's going to take him time to learn how to fish. So even if Dr. Sunday teach him how to fish, it's going to take him time. But it will rather, in the meantime, while he's struggling, he would rather Dr. Sunday just give him the lump sum and then also later teach him how to fish. And he was totally convinced in this ideology. You know, he said, this is how people go. And I said, no, you know, you can't live on your own, you know, schedule of life. How many people do you know, that would do this? If everybody does this doesn't make sense. I said, oh, this is how it's done. I just don't understand. So you've raised a really good point there. I think that if anybody's out there listening, this is what Pelumi has said is part of the problem, where even the people that don't have think that it is the responsibility of those who has the knowledge to give them. They've acquired the knowledge, they know what they're doing, they're using the knowledge to gain wealth, but it is their responsibility to then give to the ones that don't have, to give the result, the money to those that don't have, without you thinking, okay, how did you make this? Teach me instead of just handing it to me. So thank you. This is excellent. But, you know, you also have a responsibility, Pelumi, that you need to teach other people what you know. This thing that you know, you need to teach it teach your peers, teach the people around you, and be relentless. Don't let anybody intimidate you, because I'm talking from a conversation that we had in Ukraine, the ones I just given you. I know it would be a challenge in Nigeria, because if you try to tell an average Nigerian not to ask a person that has money, they just think that you're crazy. That's just the norm. That ask them how you can develop yourself to be better instead of asking them for money. They'll just think that you're just being stupid, that, you know, the person has the money, you should just give me the money. Families have problems over this. They hate the rich person in their family because they expect the person to just be giving them. You know, you have, so just give me. So you spread this as well. Spread it amongst people, your peers, and, you know, let them understand it. But it's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, let me read a few more comments that has been shared. Oh, Katia, my favorite host on the Facebook program. Kate, you're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. And it's Kate's mom's birthday today. Happy birthday to her. So please give her my love. Hello, Ezinwa. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. You guys have been wonderful. Gift, you're going to be the last comment I'm going to read. It says, wisdom can be acquired through experience. Anyone who is interested in trying new things and influencing on the process has the ability to gain wisdom by learning as much as we can. Well said. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a fantastic evening. As usual, I really enjoy spending time with you and learning. You know, this is a learning process for me. I can't emphasize on it enough. This is my own roadmap to being an erudite. or to develop the attribute erudite. And I hope that you also do so, because I gain so much knowledge from doing this on a daily basis and sharing ideas and rubbing minds with you. You guys are the best audience on Facebook, I mean probably in the world. Thank you so much. I thank you, and I will see you again. Dr. Sunday will continue. You know, we're in the city today, so we're in Dr. Sunday's office and in the church, and we would be leaving early. So please join us as early as you can. We start at 9 p.m. Ukraine time, which is 7 p.m. UK and Nigeria time. Join us early. Let's start early so that you can also call in and we can finish on time so that we can head home and not get home too late. But again, I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you so much. Please don't forget YouTube, Sunday Adelaja Official. Sunday Adelaja Official. Everything you see here is on Sunday Adelaja Official on YouTube. Share with your friend. We're on SoundCloud. We are on Telegram. We are on Telegram. I always say Graph. Telegram. Please check us out on all platforms. On Instagram, we are on there. We are on Twitter. Check us out. Like the page. Like Dr. Sunday's follow, and invite people. Tell as many people as possible. We have a whole host of information, educative ideas, all sorts for you on all these channels, and more to come. So invite people. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, and God bless. God bless from Mayowa. Thank you. Bye.